everyone, I'm Rochelle Clausen.
And I'm Nicole Trombley, and we're from Anatomyscapes. In this issue of Massage and Bodywork magazine, the Anatomy for Touch column is covering scar tissue.
We see scars all the time when we work with our clients, and many of them are just on the surface, but sometimes scar tissue can run deep, and that certainly would be the case with like surgical scars.
Yeah, so in this issue, we're exploring the anatomy of scar tissue to help you understand it better so that you can improve your palpation skills working with your client scars.
So enjoy this video extra that's from one of our online courses that's about scars.
Yep,
enjoy.
So today is scar tissue from a very particular POV, which is point of view, which is a very trending term on TikTok, my daughter tells me. So POV subcutis. And normally when we're talking about scar tissue, one of the biggest POVs, points of view we get, is that skin and the dermis and epidermis. So we're going beneath the surface today to the subcutis.
Do you want me to walk through this?
Oh, yes.
So this is a bit of a review from last month, if you were here with us, as we talk about the architecture of the tissue from skin to depth. And this is labeled really easily, so you can all see the epidermis and dermis are on the top, and then you move down into the superficial adipose tissue, and that's our squishy, spongy, cuddly layer. In the middle of that layer, you come to a membranous layer, which almost looks like, we were just seeing this again yesterday in the lab. It's a little thicker, but kind of like when you take an eggshell and you peel the skin out of the eggshell. That's the kind of membrane we're talking about. It's pretty thin, but it has more stretch than the membrane of an eggshell would. It has more elastin in it. It has flexibility, but it has a little bit more structure and stability in this plane than the superficial adipose tissue, which is more like bubble wrap. Below it, you'll find the deep adipose tissue, which is more like an even slipperier bubble wrap. You can see how the skin ligaments are not quite as defined. The shape of the lobules sometimes is more like a flat oval as opposed to more like an upright column. And then once you go below that is when you come to the deep fascia. That's that silvery strapping tape wrapping that you'll find all around the arms and the legs. It completely envelops the limbs. And then it's found in various organizations on the torso, slightly different. Primary deep fascia that you'll find on the torso is the rectus sheath in the front, thoracolumbar fascia in the back. And then you have a sleeve of the brachial and antebrachial fascia on the arm, and the fascia lata and the crural fascia on the legs. So that's our deep diving suit. Then below that, you get to the muscles. And of course, each muscle has its own little skin, which is called the epimysium. So quick review, these are what we're talking about. So if you look at this picture again and you think about an injury, some of the ones that we named, like a laceration or surgery, where were they going? How deep were they going? Did they penetrate skin? Probably. If you scarred, yes. Did it penetrate superficial adipose tissue? What about the membrane? Deep adipose tissue? How about that deep fascia? How about a muscle? All these things were had to cut through in order to do a surgery, or how deep was the injury that occurred as a result of an accident.
So this is a close-up of this month's art card, and it's a wider view so we can see more of that incision and how it healed. We've got this labeled here, and you can actually see some skin ligaments in there. The top of the screen, the bottom of the screen, you've actually got the skin, and a little bit you can see an indentation that follows through on the skin level. That's actually the scar at the skin level. And then we can see parted here, we can actually see the fibrotic scar tissue in the subcutaneous tissue. It doesn't look so dramatically different than really reinforced skin ligaments.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, I don't know, natural skin ligaments in this shot, like possibly on this, this far one on the left, that would probably be its more normal natural organization. And then you see one that also seems kind of a natural organization, if you can see my little blue dot, but then see how the yellow drops out and it becomes all white. That's more collagen being laid in where the incision was. And like she said, if you can see where my cursor is going across the top, the view that you have right here is that we made an incision like this. And now you're viewing it like this, right? We've kind of pulled this back a little bit. So you're dropping down to seeing that like cross section cut with the scar coming, if the scar were coming through the middle of my hand, and then would be dropping down into the depth of the tissue. So if that gives you a little bit of an orientation, full orientation, you're looking towards the sacrum. So this is actually probably right at like the S1, S1 area. And the surgery that was performed here was a pretty extreme scoliosis Harrington rod placement. So she had lots of bolts going all the way up her spine. And it was kind of surprising, actually, because the skin obviously had a scar, but we had no idea how much had been done beneath that scar. The skin looked okay. You get down there and it's like, whoa, there's a lot in here. She had a lot of metal assistance, which she had a very extreme scoliosis. So also could have been a life-saving measure,